Hello, people of YouTube. This is Tram 135, and welcome to the 26th episode of RSSM. We're back to the story Toby and the Scout Gentleman. Toby is a tram engine. He is short and sturdy. He has cow catchers and side plates, and he doesn't look like a steam engine at all. He takes trucks from farms and factories to the mainland, and the big engines takes them to London and elsewhere. His tram line runs along roads and through fields and villages. Toby rings the bell cheerfully to everyone he meets. He has a co-child, Henrietta, who has seen better days. She complains because she really has fewer passengers. Toby is attracted to Henrietta and always takes care of her with him. She might be useful one day, he says. It's not fair at all, grumbles Henrietta as the buses roar past full of passengers. She remembered that she used to be full and 9 cars would rattle behind her. Now there are only 3 or 4 for the farm and factories to send most goods by lorry. Toby is always cheerful on the roads. The cars and buses and lorries would often have accidents. Toby hasn't had an accident in years, but the buses are crowded, and Henrietta is empty. I can understand it, says Toby the tram engine. People come to see Toby, but they come by bus and they stare at him. Isn't he quaint? They all say and laugh. They make him so cross. One day a car stopped close and the little boy jumped out. Come on, Bridget, he called to his sister, and together they ran to Toby. The 2 ladies and the Scout Gentleman followed. The gentleman looked important but nice. The children ran back. Come on, grandfather. Do look at this engine. And he sees his hands that they almost dragged him. Oh, that's a tram engine, Stephen, said the Scout Gentleman. Is it electric? Asked Bridget. Whoosh, hissed Toby crossly. Shh, said her brother. You have often offended him. But trams are electric, aren't they? They are mostly, but this is, the Scout Gentleman answered, but this is a steam tram. May we go in it, grandfather? The guard begun to blow his whistle. Stop, said the Scout Gentleman and raised his hand. The guard surprised and opened his mouth and the whistle fell out. While he was picking it up, they all scrambled into Henrietta. Hip hip hooray, chanted Henrietta as she rattled happily behind. Toby did not sing. Electric indeed, he snorted. He was really hurt. The Scout Gentleman and his family got out on the junction, but waited for Toby to take them back to their car. What is your name? Asked the Scout Gentleman. Toby, sir. Thank you, Toby, for a very nice ride. Thank you, sir, said Toby politely. He had felt better now. This gentleman, he thought, is a gentleman who knows how to speak to engines. The children came up every day for a 4th night. Sometimes they often rode with the guard, sometimes in empty trucks, and on their last day of all, their driver invited them into his cab. All were sorry when they had to go away. Stephen and Bridget said thank you to Toby, his driver and fireman and guard. The Scout Gentleman gave him an old present. Peep, 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 hooray! Come again soon. We will, called the children, and they waved Toby till they were out of sight. Months passed. The months have passed. Toby had few trucks and fewer passengers. Our last day, Toby, said the driver sadly one morning. This manager said we must close tomorrow. That day, Henrietta had more passengers than she could manage, and they rode in the trucks and crowded in the brake van. The guards couldn't have enough tickets to round. Passengers joke and sang, but Toby, his driver. Oh. The driver whistled, but they wouldn't. "Goodbye, Toby," said the passengers afterwards. "We are sorry your line is closing down." "So am I," said Toby sadly. The last passenger left the station, and Toby puffed slowly to his bed. "No one wants me," he thought, and went unhappily to sleep. The next morning, the shed was flung open, and he woke with a start to see the firemen dancing in a jig outside. His driver was excited, waving a piece of paper. "Wake up, Toby," they shouted, and he listened to this. "This is a letter from the scout gentleman." Toby listened. "But I mustn't tell you any more, or I might spoil the next story." Coming up next, Thomas in Trouble. Stay tuned for that book.